Hi, my name is Janet Torres. I am a TIM major, Technology Information and Management. Um, I took a math placement exam during summer so that I was able to take whatever math I was placed into college. And my history of math was pre-cal during junior year and AP Calculus in my senior year of high school. Although have difficulties in exams, so during my AP test, I did not pass with a 3, I passed with a 2, or not even passing, it was a 2. And so during summer, I stopped studying and I started working so that I can attain money so I can go to school. And so along the way, I started forgetting I started forgetting a lot of my math information that I had learned. So, for example, when I was we took the placement exam super late. We took it towards the end of summer, and by doing that, I completely forgot everything about math. And so, while I was taking the math exam, I had no idea what I was doing. Probably most of the math on there was 19B, but all I was familiar with was 19A math. Calculus A math, not Calculus B math. So I felt like the placement exam didn't really evaluate my math, what I know about it, because I passed AP Calculus with an A plus basically, and I passed pre-calculus with an A as well. So the being placed after I took the placement exam, I was placed into pre-calculus here, which was math 3. And so I went to the class, and what I was looking at during the class, I was like, wow, this is super easy. My teacher, in between an hour and a half, we were going over only 4 problems for an hour and a half. And it was super boring to me because I already knew what to do, and I didn't feel like it was important that I should even go to class. So I never went to class, and I just decided to do the homework online and just take the midterms and then take the final and I'll be fine. There was no point of me even going to class because I was doing just fine without going to class. Although, because I was not going to class, I had not checked when one of my midterms was, so I had missed one of my midterms. And by doing so, I wasn't going to class, so I wasn't realizing, I wasn't notified about when the math 3 midterm was. I could have checked online. That was my fault. But, that's just cause and effect kind of thing. And so I didn't take my midterm. I had to go to Mexico as well because family emergencies. And so for my final, my teacher said, if I pass the final, he'll take the average of my final and my midterm and then use that as my midterm, my second midterm, because we have 2 midterms. So I took the first one, missed the second one. He said that if I take the final and I take the midterm, take the averages and then count that as my second midterm. I didn't really pass the final because I was not going to class. So towards the end, there was new information that I had not known about. So there goes that. And so I failed Math 3 and was placed into Math 99F, which is Aleks. And this program was actually super useful for a certain amount of reasons. So first things first, I meet up with Deborah, and she starts talking about how this is going to work, how it's going to help me. And she basically just left us to do it all on our own. She said, do it 32 hours of this and get an 80% or 70% on the assessment and you'll be fine. I'll give you your complete and that's it. So I didn't really understand how to do exactly 32 hours. I just thought if I get my 80 or 90%, I will be continuing to Math 19A or 19B, so I can just move on. So I did get an 80% in my my assessment. However, I did not get the 32 hours, which means that I was I had to have to do all these other things so I can make that up. However, I thought Aleks was actually super useful because it was, by doing Aleks, I noticed that it was a refresher of algebra, pre-cal, and calculus, that I was actually prepared for the next step. Because, like, as I'm taking, like, these, as I was taking the assessment, there was, like, problems I had no idea what I was doing. I knew them, but I just didn't remember how to do them. And as I was doing Aleks, the little practice things, it would give me examples on how to do it, which was super useful because it explained it perfectly fine. I was thankful for that. And I, like, when I was taking the assessment, it gave me 2 days, which was super useful because then I felt like less anxiety going on for taking the test. And the first test, I failed it. Well, not failed it. I got like a 60%, which wasn't like passing enough. So then I got an 80% on the next one, which was great because it showed me that I did learn from Aleks. Also, I think that Aleks is very useful for STEM majors so that they don't have to become people like me I was a bioengineer major because I was so behind with math that I have to change my major to TIM because the math requirements for TIM aren't as specific as for bioengineering. And it was just a real disappointment that I had to switch my major to TIM. But I'm glad I have TIM. It's a pretty cool major. And it's pretty cool that, like, Aleks doesn't actually replace a class. It's just, like, a refresher as to what we're doing, you know? It has, like, all the sufficient details to take you through the steps of what you have to do. I feel like I'm being repetitive. Okay. However, the bad things about Aleks, that it was super random during the assessment. There were the problems were not out. There were problems about algebra and there were problems about like calculus B, and I wanted to take calculus A. That's where I was trying to go. I don't know, because math 3 is pre-cal, so I was supposed to be taking a pre-cal Aleks assessment, which I was not doing. So that was really weird, and it made me feel more like I was less confident about taking the test, which resulted in lower scores, I'm guessing. Also, I was like, since I was left alone, I felt like I was super confused, and I felt more like alone than anything because this was all on my time. This is all my free time. Yet people don't understand that I'm not only focused on math, because I'm also focused on my English classes that I have to take for my college, and also my other major requirements. Math is not my entire life. So having 32 hours, I felt like, wow, I have to do so much hours, and I have so little time because I'm also consumed with all of these other things. Those are probably the bad things, but overall, I think Aleks was great to use also for people who could take it during summer so they can be refreshed and just take pre-cal or calculus, whatever they just recently learned. Or they can take Aleks as like to see if they can place into 19B or learn it during summer, because it's not replacing a class, but it's like refreshing you and like teaching you some ways. So yeah, that's my evaluation on Aleks. If there's anything else, you can message me and I'll say more. Thank you.